of law. It is one main principle which is essential for the functioning of any welfare state. So what is rule of law? Let us see. Rule of law means the absolute supremacy of regular law as opposed to the influence of arbitrary power. So this principle means that the predominance of legal spirit in the administration of the country. It says that the law should not be subjected to the government, but in fact it is the government which has to be subjected to the law. Rule of law signifies the Latin maxim lex supremus. It means that the law is supreme. Mr. Dicey, in his classical work Law and Constitution, has defined the rule of law and laid down its three principles. The first principle says that no man can be punished or made to suffer except for the violation of law. And in fact, such a violation must be established in an ordinary court and in an ordinary legal manner. The second principle of rule of law says that all persons are subjected to the ordinary law of the land without any distinction of rank or position, and all are subjected to the jurisdiction of ordinary courts. Thus, any person can sue or any person can be sued in a court of law. And the final third principle of rule of law says that constitution is the result of ordinary law of the land. However, please remember that in the context of India, the rule of law reads that the constitution is the supreme law of the land and all the laws passed by legislature must be consistent with the provision of the constitution. So unlike other countries, in India, constitution is the supreme law of the land. It is not just the result of ordinary law of the land. It is the adoption of rule of law that has changed the concept of administration from king is the law to law is the king. Further, rule of law is essential for the healthy functioning of the democracy. In fact, our constitution, by conferring the writ jurisdiction on Supreme Court and High Court under Article 32 and 226 respectively, has provided for the preservation of rule of law. However, there are some interesting exceptions to rule of law. For example, no criminal proceedings whatsoever can be instituted or continued against the president or governor of the state. Also, under the international law, the visiting head of the state or the government or any foreign diplomats who are posted in other countries are not answerable to the jurisdiction of the local courts. So these are the concepts behind the principle of rule of law. Also, please do remember that Supreme Court has declared the principle of rule of law as one of the basic structure of Indian Constitution. It means that the legislature cannot pass any law that infringes or affects the principle of rule of law. Thanks a lot. We'll meet you again.